The US President Joe Biden has spoken to his Ukrainian counterpart over concerns that Russia could invade Ukraine as early as this week. Let's go to Joe Siracusa. He's our political analyst and professor at Curtin University. Joe, good morning to you. So is it happening or is it just a bit more saber rattling?
Good morning, Pete. Hey, look, it's crunch time. In the last week, the United States has told its people to get out of Ukraine. It's ordered the evacuation of its embassy, which is the universal sign to hunker down because something's coming. And the Russian troops are in position. Now, there have been reports in different places that Putin has given the order to move on Wednesday, the 16th of February. Maybe that's true. And so the administration has done whatever it could at the last minute here. It's made the phone calls. I'm a little disappointed with President Biden, actually. I mean, it seems to me that there should be sort of an executive committee meeting going on in the White House, in the State Department, around the clock until this is settled, because not only is the regional security of Europe at stake, but this could easily slip into a nuclear war, for goodness sake, whether it's some accident in the Baltics or the North Pacific or the Mediterranean. This could slide in different directions. I was amazed that Secretary of State Blinken was in Fiji offering them an embassy the other day at the height of the crisis. I mean, I'm getting the impression here that the Biden administration has given up. Now, it's quite clear to me that Biden can resolve this tomorrow, today, if he just picks up the phone and says to Putin, there will be no NATO in Ukraine on my watch, and there will be no first strike weapons on that boundary. Let's settle the civil war in Ukraine. Of course, the Minsk agreements are at the center of that kind of thing. And so Putin is all out there. I mean, it seems to me that the president is making these last-minute calls in order to establish an alibi that he did everything he could. I do not like the idea that the civilized world can watch 30 to 50,000 Ukrainians die before they cut off Putin's credit cards and his bank account. I mean, it seems like that's coming a little late after all these deaths. And so I don't think the administration has done enough. I don't think the administration can do enough. I think they pretty much failed. So there's nobody home there. But the situation, it remains tense and fluid. Everybody predicts that it's going to happen this week. We hope that it doesn't, that there's some last-minute thing. But it seems to me that we should go the extra mile here. I want to see everybody go the extra mile. And you know, Pete, there ain't no one around with enough clout to make this happen. There's no Henry Kissinger.
Russia denies it was ever planning to invade Ukraine, despite placing more than 100,000 troops at the border. Diplomatic efforts continue as some troops pull back from the border.
Ukraine is preparing for a day of unity on Wednesday. This same day, intelligence suggests Russia could invade. However, after a Tuesday meeting with the German Chancellor, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he's ready for talks. Russia wants guarantees Ukraine cannot join NATO, plus a rollback of forces from Eastern Europe.
Do we want it? War or not? Of course not. That is why we have offered our proposals to start the negotiation process, which should lead to an agreement of providing equal security for everybody, including our country.
A Kremlin spokesperson says this video shows some troops drawing back from the Ukrainian border.
We've always said the troops will return to their bases after the exercises are over.
The White House says a drawback isn't what they've seen. Now 130,000 Russian troops and heavy machinery stand ready along three sides of Ukraine. Ukrainian and NATO leaders say they'll believe Russian de-escalation when they see it.
So far, we have not seen any de-escalation on the ground.
Critics of the administration say they're playing into Putin's hands.
I believe Putin is hoping that at the end of the day, he can get what he's wanted, which would be an economic collapse, a political collapse in Kyiv, and a window to put his own person in.
The administration says they stand ready to help Ukraine and NATO allies and impose sanctions if Russia does invade.
Our top story this morning is Prince Andrew and Virginia Giuffre have reached a settlement outside court in the civil sexual assault case in the United States. In a joint letter submitted to the US District Court, the lawyers for both parties said they had reached an in-principle agreement for a sum which will not be made public. The letter read, Virginia Giuffre and Prince Andrew have reached an out-of-court settlement. Prince Andrew intends to make a substantial donation to Ms Giuffre's charity in support of victims' rights. Prince Andrew never intended to malign Ms Giuffre's character, and he accepts that she has suffered both as an established victim of abuse and as a result of unfair public attacks. Prince Andrew regrets his association with Epstein and commends the bravery of Ms Giuffre and other survivors in standing up for themselves and others.